Okay, so earlier we'd looked at this photograph and we're using this in another tutorial working with the alpha channels. Um, Today we're just going to have a wee look at using the filter effects gallery that's available to us within Photoshop. What I'm going to do to begin with is just create a layer from background. Just call this tree. Make sure I'm in the box. Okay, and we're going to browse through some of the filters that are available to us. If we go up to filter here, we can open up a filter gallery, or what we can do is we can jump through some of these filters quickly if we know what it is that we're looking for. I'm going to click on filter gallery just so I can show you how they look. Okay, so down at the bottom here, if I just move this window, I'm going to have to move this over here. We can zoom in and zoom out of the image, and you'll notice this nice cut out effect has been applied to the image. That's just defaulted straight to that. I can increase the edge simplicity here, or perhaps the number of levels, and the size of your image as well is going to have an effect. You'll notice down here just taking its time to kind of almost like render over the image and achieve the effect you're looking for. Variety of different effects that can be adjusted in this panel, and underneath here we have a series of different folders with different effects that could be applied to our image or to a specific layer. It doesn't necessarily need to be, it might just be one element or a small image that you have that you're planning on using. Okay, so if I say I'm going to go back to this cutout. I quite like that cutout effect. So if we go back to the cutout effect, I'll just increase the number of levels. Hand on it. If I was happy with that, all I need to do is hit OK. And now that effect has been applied to my layer. Now, the only problem with that is if I decide that I start working away, creating new layers, and I decide that I'm not too happy with that, I can't reverse that unless I claw my way back through my history. Okay, but there is another way to go about doing this, which it would be a non-destructive method. Now, what we have just achieved here is the destructive method of applying an effect or a filter. And it's exactly as I just said. If you continue to work away and decide that you don't like it and you want to change it, you've got to go all the way back through your history. If you've reached your maximum steps or you haven't changed the maximum steps in your history, then you're going to kind of find yourself having to go back and restart the work. So what we'll look at doing is a non-destructive method. So I'm just going to step backwards to undo that filter. Okay. Now, in order to be able to create this or add any filters, and for that matter, I failed to mention that any blur filters that you intend to put on, also they would only come under this bracket here. You won't find them in your filter gallery, as well as a few of these others. Okay, so basically anything that you intend to use in here that you want to apply would be best applied to an image that had been converted for smart filters, or as we looked at in earlier tutorials, convert to smart filter. Okay, so I'm going to convert this to smart filter, and I'm just going to go in and do the exact same thing again. I'm going to open up the filter gallery and I'm going to apply my cutout effect to it. It's just taking its time to apply this. I'll just zoom out, that's quite a large image. Okay, there's a nice amount of detail in there, so I'm going to OK that, and I'm happy. Now, you'll notice that underneath the image here, I have a wee smart filters mask, if you like, which is suggesting that this whole filter has been applied to the white area, and this can be hidden or revealed. Okay, and like a mask, treated exactly like a mask where I can paint and I can remove. So if I perhaps wanted this to be realistic photograph, with that kind of cut out effect on the tree and perhaps even some of the grass, I can play about with my mask here. Okay, I can also click here, click down here to go back in, play about with my layer blend modes. Okay, that. Turn it on and off as I mentioned, and collapse it to contain it within that smart object layer. Okay, so now that's now a non-destructive way rather of being able to apply a smart filter to my object. And if I want to get rid of it, I can just drag it down here to the bin, and that's going to remove it, and it'll allow me to go back and apply any other filters from the filter gallery. Okay, so combined with having learned a wee bit about smart objects earlier on, here we have plenty of different effects that can be applied within the filter gallery, or even perhaps here. Choose this one for example, this kind of mosaic effect, kind of pixelated effect is applied again as a smart filter down here, which can be edited or deleted when required. Okay, so that's an introduction to the filter gallery and effects. Remembering to either convert for smart object, for smart filters rather, or right click and convert to smart object before you start playing about with them, so that you can do it in a non-destructive method. Once you're happy, you can in fact, if we go back to just add in fact, cancel that, I'll just add on the last one that I just had on there. Okay, that. If I rasterize the layer, I've now attached and combined all of them together, which is now allowing me to be able to edit the layer as it's in a non kind of protected state, as opposed to when it was a smart object. Okay, so you can have a wee look at that and try them and see how you go on.